polyester resin, you can have this glue which is used here. Functionally this is very very good, and they have tried to take the best advantage of little bit of detailing which he has learnt. Obviously he is a person who is very, I am very extremely happy to see that somebody has made this. It looks not great, but for me it looks authentic. You see here, this is life. I enjoy it a lot. Now you see here, if you have to put another cover, all these things have been brought here on the outside. Possible for me to put a cover and then I can still access these things. And so far the objects that have been shown are probably made in a very high class machine, or alternately they have been machined again. Because of this finish appeared good in those things. Even this, there is nothing wrong in it. After the thing is printed, you can always take a paint emery. Here over this parts it is called a zero emery, but otherwise 300 and 350 grit emery is available. You put a little water and gently you can emery these things out, and things look absolutely fine, which is from the outside. Now I will go to the next picture. And while this part of it is very interesting, so far I have only spoken to you about technical things. You can look for it on your own thing. It is some best friends, this thing interlocking key chain he calls it. So I do not know if the same person has both the key chains or it is two people, and the magic is this. If you see this small step here, this goes and interlocks here. It first you put it here and then turn it over and the whole thing stays in place. To me it is a nice cute novelty, and not impossible to finish these things. Very easy to finish these items. Means you can take sand them down a little, and maybe you can even use spray paint depending on the type of material this is. You try on a sample and see that it does not melt. I am impressed by it. This is, I mean, the ultimate threat we can have, a robot which builds itself. So these are parts required for a 3D printing machine, made by a 3D printing machine. Then nothing. You see the subsequent slides will show you what the item can be. Does it give a clue? Exactly, this is a trunnion which will hold something here. If you put two trunnions, we can push something. Alternatively, we can clamp something. It is a general purpose trunnion which is fully 3D printed. Most likely these holes, either they have printed it or afterwards it has been added here. See here, this is a feed spool to your 3D printing machine. So I am happy, and you see other details. After inserting that, you can actually drop this spool here and then you can lock it here, and that is the advantage of it. Normally sometimes a manufacturer gives something which is convenient for you, for them to load. So you can always buy these things in bulk. This may be just a transfer device, and then gently wind it a smaller quantity at your smaller thing. But then if you see here, all these details have been made by these people. This is cute, multi-purpose. This you have seen, small flange like thing here, small flange like thing here, small flange like thing is here. Why am I showing this? Obviously laser cut parts, because the same rules apply even for your printed parts. You obviously need to do something to clamp them. One of the earliest objects I told you is that the sides can be part of this. Alternately, if you have a file, you can print it, and then you see here this cute thing. They have provided a flange here, and on the other side also you have a flange here. So you can fix it somewhere. You can fix it to a board, or at home if you are one of the hackers, you want to use your Arduino for say switching on the lights or leaving messages or doing some home automation. You can always fix the whole PCB wherever you want, and fully completed modules are available for a very very low price. Very interesting. Slowly if you see, I really cannot get rid of these nuts and screws. and these are probably spacers for holding the printed circuit board here. Somewhere I have opening here, if you see here now, can you see here, there is an opening here, there is an opening here, and opening here. So the thing is maybe 1 or 2 are extra, about 6 or so are common. So you need to put it, and then after that no, you can use the screws and hold the printed circuit board in place. I do not know if I have already shown you. Now you see that this is the detail, which is both the file is available and the parts are available. In case you want to start off, much easier for you to what you call order this, get this box made, then you can optimize it the way you want it. This I have told you already how the amount of the things that are available on the. I thought I will show you all the small parts here. Can you see this? This is the one which I just showed you. In this case they have fixed this corner intentionally, so that, and then you see here I have a fastener that is fixed here, and if I turn it over, looks ugly, but it does have a purpose. In this case it prevents the surface from getting scratched when you keep it somewhere. So you can even have decorative things. Now if I push it aside, see this which I have shown you already. These are polycarbonate what I call some supports. Actually it was used to hold a monitor in place. Now I can use this for say riveting it to a surface like this, then neatly my mobile can sit in it without any problem. I will take it out and I will introduce you to smaller and smaller parts. You see here they look a little small, actually a little too small. After working with it, slowly you will notice that not this is a switch holder. See this here is a place for the switch to sit inside, and this is actually how the switch is sitting inside. Can you see this switch? And this one and this are generically same. You see generically they are the same. If you see at the back of it and you see the back of it, obviously that same element can sit here also. If you see these spaces and all that, no, can see the same element can sit comfortably in this, except here the flange has been put on this side, on one edge. This has been put balanced on both the directions. Depending on our function, if we make this detailing, adding this flanges is relatively easy. Follow? And most critically is this may or may not be made out of the same thing. Now if you see, examine carefully, probably somebody has printed this object separately. You have seen this. This is the base. That base has been printed, and then there is a small cavity in which that thing has been pushed. Now if you see, this is actually something which has been done like this. Very interesting thing, is it not? Now it is a matter of time or matter of convenience for me to play around with these things, depending on if I have a proper fastener and if I have a proper device. It is very much possible for me to create all these things, miniature things in printing. Now you see this. I am once again I am not very sure what exactly it is. This one is the base on which this printing is being done. I am not sure whether it is part of actually it is a rejected job or the job itself. Making things like this is simple, absolutely ridiculously simple. Now see this, this is a acrylic window. So absolute transparent, and often we have things like infrared or ultraviolet or protection for the optics inside. Things like this are required. You can always provide a small space for your component and then push it inside, and naturally everything sits very very comfortably inside. It is actually very tiny. In this case it is a 10 millimeter diameter, and actually it has been made, yeah, it looks like it is 8 millimeter, 6 or 8 millimeter wide, and pushing it into any of these things is relatively easy. I have a small opening here, can you see? very easy for me to make things like this. If I have to make something, I make a appropriate size, push it inside. Now I will remove this, and you see, I am sure some of you at least should have seen these things. It is a small a flanged rivet nut, or I do not know, hinge or anything. This could be part of this. It has a small rubber thing, and then I do something and assemble it, and eventually I have a fastening system which does everything else. These are available off the shelf. If you go into the market and search for it, obviously you can get a lot of these things without a slightest problem. And in case some sealing and all is required, you always need an elastomer seal here. So usually it will come in a flat sheet, and then you punch it and you do it. Now I will move this out. I will show you something else here. See this beautiful what do you call fan? Looks cute, looks extremely nice, but then this is part of it. Now if you go down or check on any fastener catalog, you will get details about this, including sizes or anything. You can probably order it and build up your own repository of all these devices. These things go extremely well with our rapid prototyping. So, and in fact, if you have a necessity to have a cooling device, let us say 2 fans in series, 2 fans in parallel, it is very easy for you to build things like this. Maybe remove this will come away. If I do something, it is possible for me to break it off and build. In fact, what looks like a turbine, I can have a 2-stage and 3-stage thing by which I can increase the pressure if I cascade these fans. In objects like this, you have no choice but to do things directly by rapid prototyping. And in this case, you have a screw and something coming out. I can cascade them. This is a 12-volt fan. It is written here. If you read carefully, this is a 12-volt fan. So it is possible for me to cascade, make it 24 volts or 36 volts, or alternatively, I can, by playing around with these connections, I can make it 12 volts, but something which takes around what you call 0.6, around 0.5 amps. So if I have a 5 volt 500 milliamp device, I can make something which can easily cool from your USB slots, which I think I am very happy about it. Now I will come to something which I just wanted to show here. I am sure quite a few of you have seen these minis. Not long ago, things were made out of what are called almost generically tin. Actually it is not tin, it is tin plated mild steel sheet. So if you have to make a box like that, you see here long ago details were like this. They had made a hinge by forming one of these. Probably this has been formed, the outside one has been formed, and I have a lip that is built all around here. Since this is all done in the what I call sheet metal shop, old techniques are there, and you see here the lip has been taken in at this point. Now if you see the lip has been taken in like this, or you see here, and in this case the lip has been taken out. This is the one that gives tremendous rigidity when you are holding it. If you have to remove it, it becomes weak, a little like the aluminum Coke cans you find here, all the fizzy drink cans. Next time you get a chance, if you cut the can, you will notice that it is extremely thin and it will crumple easily, only the top and bottom is there. Now allow me to show something else. This is my hearing aid. Okay. This is a little modern hearing aid. After studying so many other things, people have come to this shape. Okay, and the microphones are here, there are two microphones here, and this one is the speaker element, then this wire no is there. Now in principle all this can be printed, and right now it is molded. At least if you make a initial positive piece, then using a lost wax method this thing can be printed easily. Same thing with these things, absolutely life is very convenient for people like me. Now there are some things called 3D printing education stuff. Okay. This thing called pinshape.com gives you a full range of all this 3D printing facilities. Some of the things what I have observed there, I have read through like that several of these things. For example, you see here we have the actual software which is there, probably a little bit of what they call sponsorship is involved, but then it is up to you. And then they have also provided what is the hardware, saying do you buy which one, and then for the first timers obviously tutorials and plans will be the ones that are making the actual thing. And then afterwards what do you do here? You see here post processing, what you get out of the machine is this, and then they have added fantastic things to make them look authentic. Okay. And then you see here how these things are. So for convenience I have just opened one of the things saying which are all the various types of hardware which are available, saying so we have SLA, then this fuse deposit, and then we have stuff about food safety. Okay. How to set up the machine and what actually goes inside, and finally maintain your printer, additive manufacturing, various advantages, all these come under this. So I suggest you look up various things, but I have found this a little attractive. And projects and tutorials, you see here we have huge collection of this projects and tutorials. Normally we being kids at heart, we are fascinated by small objects like this, and while I can get away with it as an educator, you can do a bit of reverse engineering, but not the way of copying it. Let us say something breaks in your house, important thing could be a part of your dishwasher or some electrical device like that. No, if you have the original and if you can examine this carefully, you can probably build something, and it seems to work best with toys because toys break quickly, and you can keep on building until you can make a new toy. And you see here very interesting thing like a clock scanner, and very important screw threads to connect 3D printed parts. Why do you require to connect 3D printed parts? Because they are invariably, if I showed you earlier, invariably we have problems with build height, then direction of layup. They seem to make a lot of difference. So you have several softwares also. I will try to get back into this. See, I kept on talking to you about slicing, and then you see here how you need to know about it, how to repair your lithography files, lesson plans. You can use your what you call phantom, and then go about snooping, and then whatever your neighbor has you can make it yourself. You can't, probably it will not be the original, but you have made it yourself. And how to build these things, which is really amazing. So post processing, which is the most important part, nobody else tell you about it. When something comes out of it, it comes like this, and eventually if you want the glitter and gloss you have to do this, and same thing with all these objects. How to shine, painting 3D prints like a pro. So I was talking to you about how to make a small torchlight. If you want to make a torchlight, obviously there is a reflector and you need to do something about it. And how to make it look authentically old. So, can you make it look like ancient copper? And obviously things have been what do you call obviously these things like ducting, all these things you have tremendous amount of what do you call stuff. You see, this is what I was telling. In one of those places small projections are there at the back. What is the function of the projection? Now you see here, Mojo FPGA development board, so that wires on my bench do not short out the contacts on the back. Here is a link for anyone interested in the board. I do like the fact that the print matches the color of the silk screen printing. Seen here, it is a beauty. Somebody has made one small thing at the back, so that you can move it around, and unlike I mean nothing that things will not get short circuited and all. And the thing here is you will gain a lot if you register, and you can join. Joining is very easy, and then you have certain advantages. You can upload and download and share. Then 3D scanning and custom modeling. So, I will try to spend more time on this again. So, at the left, if you see here, all these things are there, the categories. You can go in detail, and we have a large community, including forums. There are some people are promoting these things. So, I feel as you are watching it, you should kindly go to the spin shape. Probably you need to join by giving various your various things, and then eventually you can log in and keep what you call searching for this, and you can get it. While we are at it, I will see whether I can look for some. See, if I go here in the very conventional way, saying if I look for 3D print files, okay, you have this thing is one of my favorites. See, somebody has made such things, which to me I am fascinated by these things. Picnic glass stabilizer, it says. Easy to print, easy to build, and it is a novelty. And in this case, the whole thing is what you call printed in one go like this. You can play around with it such that you can make it flat. So, if you can make a cross pattern and you make an arrangement by which you can make it flat, you need not print something like this, but the advantage is these are all available. You can go download, and in fact some of the people will help you because they are out there to help each other. I have done this, okay, but not a great deal, because you can buy these things for nothing. You can buy this practically for nothing as things are being built. See what I was telling you. See what they have done, they have printed them flat, and then in fact they have printed a base also to this and attached all these things one to the other, and these are the arches where you enter, and eventually after all the arches and all have been what you call printed and all, it is a matter of time. Very easily you can assemble these parts. Probably there are several levels of things here, and this is probably the topmost part which goes and sits inside, and you have Eiffel Tower ready. So, these are all available for you. You can always go to their websites, and and I am sure this is a normal thing. Everybody likes making things for their mum, and especially very young, and I do not know, I think, oh, it is, I am sorry, I am sorry, and not made for mum, it is just written there. You see here, this is a normal thing. You would have seen outside LAX, that is that Los Angeles thing, no, big love or lacks the thing which is mounted. Now you see here same thing which is slightly different here. Instead he has a gym ball with a heart inside. I am fascinated by thing. See, he has a gimbal with a fascinating. After printing it, if you flick it like this, the heart stays and this thing rotates and looks as if it is supported in space. So, these are fascinating things. So, if you go know all these things are available here, how it is printed, and then eventually know what all you can do with it. These are the files. This is actually a printed object. You can see here at the base something else is there. So, now if I go back and you see, I am sure you agree with this, and I think I will stop this session saying probably 3D printing is exciting. So far it was only technical, but then I will say at least one session I will try to spend on making this, and I was very much fascinated by this. I do not know, one of my children or my family, somebody got it, and actually it is metal, and why I brought it to show you is it is hollow, it is metal. Now this whole thing you can print it. I am very much what I call, I am amazed at these things, and then if you can attach it to this and add all these things, you can probably build intelligence into it. What I call, let me not lose my thing about it, or you can build a electronic remote control. I will not say cell phone jammer, at least a few things like switching on the lights and fans and all that, and you can create these objects without any problem. So, thank you.